Hello, friends. Hi, guys. So this works a lot better, right? If I put up a whatever this thing is called so that it sits here so that you guys don't get the notifications, I know, for the most part. So I'll try to do this from now on. This seems to work a little bit well. Howdy doo-dah, guys. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. I gotta tell you guys, I did just about every day last week. I did an interview, and I am sick of my own voice. I am sick of hearing myself. I am sick of talking. I'm sick of talking about myself. So, but the show must go on. We are not here for me. We are here for you and for the Great Awakening. Correctamundo? So we're just gonna keep on trucking. Next week, actually, I'll get back to you on that. I'll get back to you on that before we announce that. But let's hop right into my links that I have down below. Yeah, okay, so the first thing I have for you, this was big today. Biden and Ukraine's Poroshenko, the former president of the Ukraine, Poroshenko, called leaked. $1 billion quid pro quo discussed. So the link that I put down below, it has both the video of Biden boasting about this. That was going around for a while. I've even posted it here on this channel before. Biden literally boasting about his quid pro quo with the Ukraine. Essentially what was happening was that Viktor Shokin, who was the then prosecutor, was investigating, or he was a part of a probe that was investigating Burisma, who was employing Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden. So essentially in that video, he was talking about, saying, I told him that, if he didn't fire that guy, he wasn't going to get the $1 billion in, whatever it was called, aid, is how he put it, I believe. And so now we've had this phone call that's been leaked today, essentially showing that he was telling the truth when he was boasting about that. So Q also linked a YouTube account today. Shoot, I should have put that link in here. It's on my Twitter. I'll go back and add that later. But Q essentially linked a YouTube today with a bunch of these phone calls. So we should definitely check that out. In fact, let me grab that for you now because I feel like that's important. So doobie doobie doo. This is my intermission music. Where do I get to my doobie doobie doo? Man, I tweet a lot, guys. Lo siento mucho. Okay. I guess I could go to here it is. Okay, Nabu leaks, N-A-B-U leaks, and it is, here's the link. I'll put it in the chat for now, and then I will add it to the links in the description later. Does that work for y'all? Anyway, check that out when you get a chance. Italian member of parliament was saying that Bill Gates must be charged by the International Criminal Court with crimes against humanity. So this was really interesting. And the video is in this link as well. It says, during a blistering 7-minute speech before the National Parliament, Sarah Cunil, MP, slammed Italian President Giuseppe Conte for teaming up with Bill Gates in a, quote, global coup. She said, we the people, we build the fires of resistance to such an extent it will not be possible to repress all of us. I ask you, Leader of Parliament, to be our spokesperson who will give advice to President Conte. Next time you receive a phone call from the philanthropist Bill Gates, forward it directly to the International Criminal Court for crimes against humanity. She said, if you won't do this for us, tell us how we should define you. The, quote, friendly lawyer who takes orders from a criminal, said Cunil. So the full speech is in the link. And she's basically saying that Gates is unfit to dictate world health policy. I think a lot of people would agree with her on that. And they went into this article, so they're talking a little bit about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And there's a quote from him. He said, landing the job of dictating the World Health Policy with no election, no appointment, no oversight, and no accountability, obviously talking about Bill Gates. And he's demanding how and why this happened, to know how and why this happened. Quote, does anybody else think it's creepy? Last month, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. slammed Bill Gates in his messianic conviction that he is ordained to save the world with technology. He said vaccines for Bill Gates are a strategic philanthropy that feed his many vaccine-related businesses, including Microsoft's ambition to control a global vaccination ID enterprise and give him dictatorial control over global health policy, the spear tip of corporate neo-imperialism, Kennedy Jr. wrote. He said, Gates' obsession with vaccines seems fueled by a messianic conviction that he is ordained to save the world with technology and a godlike willingness to experiment with the lives of lesser humans. I like that quote from him. Obviously, that's a quote from him. That's a quote from him, YouTube, not me. I am just reading an article here, but it's interesting because a lot of the discussion when we talk about these megalomaniacs, these people that are in charge and doing these horrific things that a lot of people would consider crimes against humanity. A lot of people say, well, why would they do that? Or that, like, nobody would do that. Like, come on, we're, deep down, even if people are greedy and even if people are, et cetera, all people just, are good and whatever. I believe that these people do look at us like lesser life forms, almost the way that some people would view cattle, and even worse, because a lot of people that eat meat, for example, they still love animals, and they are still pro the ethical treatment of the animals, even if you believe in eating meat. But some of these people really do believe that they are of a different, like almost a different species than us, and they that helps explain it, at least to me, like how and why they do these things. My bobby pin is cutting into my brain cells right now. Sorry, guys. Anyway, this next thing, CBS got caught using a photo of a child's legs, with bumps on it, and it's basically saying it was, so Carly Q tweeted this, and I have the link to her tweet below, and it's basically a picture of the TV screen, CBS News, and the thing at the bottom says, kids hospitalized with mystery illness possibly tied to CV-19. So she also, in her tweet, has a link to an article from 2010 using that picture, and it's linked to an illness that I don't want to say wrong because it's something that's like, it sounds very naughty if you don't say it properly. It's like cax. Hold on, let me look it up. Not that it truly matters. Anyway, it doesn't truly matter. It basically, the point is that this picture was from another article. So somebody had asked, because I retweeted her, like, help me find this article because I don't want to tweet this out without finding the article, which I totally respect. Like, we should all be doing that. And I couldn't find the article. It's possible that that particular website got taken down. So what I did is I put the picture into the handy dandy TinEye website, tineye.com, right? Is that what it's called? tineye.com. And you can see that this picture has been circulating the internet since at least 2010 under several different diseases, most often Kawasaki's disease. So I'm going to get into something kind of interesting about that, but first things first. That TinEye, originally I was going to put my search for what I found in the link. I put a link to my tweet that shows my photo shot of it, but apparently that TinEye, the search engine, expires, or the search that you do expires after a while, so you can use that link to show people and to send people for a short amount of time, so that link no longer existed, but it doesn't matter. You can take that picture from that tweet and look it up for yourself, and I suggest you do. But here's what I thought was pretty interesting about this new illness, this new mystery illness that they're now saying that is possibly tied to CV-19 and that's going around with children, is that, okay, Kawasaki's disease was at one point they thought it was possibly linked to carpet cleaner. I linked an article below that says that. Now they don't necessarily say that, but you can see in this article that I linked below, oh, I'm sorry, it's not an article, it's a study. You can see in this study that I linked below that there did seem to be this correlation, at least in a lot of cases. And in this one study in particular, which was taking place in a certain region, something like 85% of the children that came down with Kawasaki's had their carpets cleaned in their house within a certain amount of time. They either had their carpet spot cleaned or completely cleaned. And so, oh, here I have it. Between October 1984 and January 1985, the largest outbreak of Kawasaki syndrome reported to date in the continental United States occurred at the Front Range of the Rocky Mountains, extending from Colorado Springs, Colorado to Cheyenne, Wyoming. 80% of these Kawasaki syndrome patients lived in the Denver metropolitan area. A case study revealed that 62% of the 26 Kawasaki syndrome patients, compared with 20% of the 49 matched control subjects that had a history of exposure to shampooed or spot cleaned rugs or carpets within the last 30 days of the Kawasaki syndrome onset date. Okay, so this is where I find this to be interesting, is that there's actually a Q drop that talks about chemicals used in the home for cleaning and the baby on the floor. Okay, so this is Q drop 1010 from qmap.pub. I know that some of the aggregators have the Q drops numbered differently. It says money, power, control. People are simply in the way. Slaves, sheep, pawns. Mass extinction events designed to decrease threat level of population. Gun control. Wars, fake, top happy, back end deal. Election rigging, control. Your voice does not matter. Pharma, class D. Water, air. Chemicals pushed for home use, cleaning. Brackets cancer, brackets baby on floor, hands and mouth, the start. Then it says vaccines, brackets not all, tobacco, opioids, ultimate win, brackets death plus money. The Fed, I don't want to say that name, the children of Roth. Conspiracy, UK, Germany, brackets 5 days, choice is yours, revelations, enough is enough. Okay, so I thought that was interesting that Q had mentioned before that. I have no idea if that has any link, but anywho, we just follow where the information, sometimes you just get an inkling. I remember as soon as I looked up the Kawasaki's syndrome disease, I saw the kind of the baby's hand and mouth and being on the floor, it reminded me of that drop, so I went and searched for it, and sure enough, so take that as you will. Yeah, that was a great drop, by the way. And again, that kind of goes back to, what did they say? That kind of went back to what we were talking about before. People are simply in the way, That's how they look at us. So on to the next. Facebook buys Giffy for $400 million as tech giant pledges to banish all, quote, hateful memes. So Giffy is that app that shows up on your phone, at least on iPhones, that, if you want to put a GIF in a tweet or in a text message or whatever, and for my mom who's listening probably, a GIF is one of those animated memes that moves when you look at it. And so now they want to call these hateful memes. Forget the fact that almost all of them come from like movies that already exist or whatever. So this says, adding an extra layer of irony, Facebook this week announced its launch of its, quote, hateful memes challenge, where researchers would compete for a cash prize to develop an AI that can, quote, successfully detect hateful memes, i.e. anything that anyone finds offensive, probably a much broader category than many realize. Ain't that the truth? In a blog post, the company admits that it continues to struggle to meet the left's unrealistically high standards for banishing, quote, hate speech, much of which consists of political speech that makes snowflake lefties uncomfortable. This must be Zero Hedge. I don't remember where I got this, but it's linked below. Now Facebook is gaining control of the world's biggest repository of GIFs and memes, giving it even more power to control and censor content on the internet. This is a quote from Facebook, I believe. In order for AI to become a more effective tool for detecting hate speech, we must be able to understand content the way people do, holistically, writes Facebook. When viewing a meme, for example, we don't think about the words and photo independently of each other. We understand the combined meaning together. This is extremely challenging for machines, however, because it means they can just analyze the text and the image separately. They must combine these different modalities and understand how the meaning changes when they are presented together. They're literally trying to teach AI how to have a sense of humor, which is weird, because that's always like, I mean, that's like one of the things that you could say like defines humanity. Our sense of humor, our ability to detect humor is something that is unique to us. So I hope you fail. San Diego County supervisor says 6 of 194 confirmed deaths are purely, solely CV deaths. So a supervisor, or the supervisor in San Diego County, California, is pushing back against Governor Gavin Newsom's stay-at-home order, arguing that only 6 of the county's 194 recorded CV deaths are, quote, pure and solely CV deaths. So basically what they're saying in this is that all of the rest of the people had pre-existing conditions. So now there's this back and forth between obviously people with pre-existing conditions are just as important as everybody else, and their deaths matter just as much. But the point is that like, we don't do this for the flu, right? You know, I have people that I love. I have people in my family with compromised immune systems, etc. Yesterday there was or maybe 2 days ago, there was a guy who put out a poll on Twitter that was like, when do you want like basically business to get back to usual? And the options that he had on the poll were until there is a vaccine. One was, I don't remember, but there were like 3, and then the last one was, I'm done. I'm ready to get back now. And then underneath it, the guy that posted the poll said that he has a son that's has a compromised immune system, and so he worries for his son. And obviously my heart goes out to him, and I understand that. But at what point do we stop the world? I mean, every person that I know with conditions that make certain illnesses such as the flu more dangerous for them, they're very good at protecting themselves. They know what to do to protect themselves. They isolate, they wash their hands more often, they do these things to protect themselves, and in that way they can take matters into their own hands to a great degree. Obviously if somebody goes up and coughs in their face, that's there's nothing they can do about that. But you know, when you've got a child, that you obviously want to protect your child, of course, but you also don't want to, you're almost doing a disservice to your child to let them believe that the world is going to bend and cater and change for them and protect them. You want, no matter if your child has medical stuff going on or not, you want to teach your kids that they need to protect themselves and look out for themselves, and that they have that. It's strengthening for your kid. So anyway, that whole poll was a very interesting kind of glance into how divided people are right now and what their beliefs are, and it was very eye-opening to me to see how many people in that poll said that they were willing to lock down the entire country, lose jobs, businesses, I mean, the economy, suicides, you know, people not being able to feed their children, people not being able to pay their rent, et cetera, until we have a vaccine, which who knows when that will happen. So, but last I saw, it had flipped towards the win. I think it's still got like 3 or like 4 more days left on the poll, but it was flipped now for more people saying they're ready to get back now. Atwater declares itself a sanctuary city for businesses and allows owners to open. So I've got a couple stories like this. We're starting to see this pushback now. Certain cities and certain areas are like, nope, we're ready. You know, obviously not every area is hit the same, and not every area should have to stay locked down like the ones that are the hardest hit. So the city of Atwater has declared itself a sanctuary city for all businesses, allowing owners to open despite the state of California's stay-at-home order amid the coronavirus CV pandemic. So the city council voted on it on Friday afternoon, saying it affirms the city's commitment to fundamental constitutional rights. This is America, you have a choice. It's time for the government to stop dictating another month, another 3 months, 6 months, said Atwater Mayor Paul Crichton. When is it going to end? When everyone is bankrupt? There was that meme the other day, like when germs are gone. So this will include nonprofit organizations such as churches, so are also allowed to reopen under the new resolution. Also, a judge in Oregon on Monday ruled that Governor Kate Brown's CV restrictions were, quote, null and void after the Democratic lawmaker failed to have her emergency orders approved by the state legislature in 28 days. And then today, President Trump signed an executive order, quote, instructing federal agencies to use any and all authority to waive, suspend, and eliminate unnecessary regulations that impede economic recovery. I mean, anything that's going against our constitutional rights. I haven't seen the EO yet, but I'll be interested to look at that. Oh yeah, I wanted to go into this a little bit. I tweeted about this the other day, but I wanted to explain it a little bit more, or where I was coming from. Hold on, I'm really thirsty. Slurp. Okay, Apple releases iOS 13.5 beta with CV contact tracing feature. It says the feature will use randomized tokens and the Bluetooth functionality of your phone to broadcast and scan for other users who are within a few feet of you for a set amount of time. Your phone will then log those tokens, and if somebody tests positive for that, an alert can be sent to your phone letting you know of potential exposure. Okay, so a couple things about this. One is that there was a lot of people were sending me these screenshots of how to, quote, turn it off once it goes on your phone. As far as I can tell, everything that I've seen about turning it off just shows notifications. You can turn off the notifications. So then a lot of people were also saying like, oh, well, you'll have the ability, you don't have to have the app on your phone, like it's only if you download the app. I just want to remind you all that remember that Facebook, we have proof that Facebook can track you even without you having an account or having the app on your phone. So that doesn't make me like super confident in it. The other thing is, okay, so what happened to me was I woke up in the morning and I had the notification on my phone that my phone had updated overnight. And I thought to myself, well, wait, I thought I had that feature turned off. But anyway, so I was annoyed. And because every time it gets updated, it always messes things up. And last year I lost almost every single picture in my phone and it was a total nightmare. So that's why I really thought I had turned off that feature. So then I see this article and then I was really PO'd because I was like, I don't want this thing on my phone. Well, it turns out what my phone updated to was like 13.4.1 or whatever. So it's not the 13.5. So then I went into my settings to toggle that off so that my phone did not automatically update when it was plugged in at night, and it was already turned off. So that means that that night my phone updated against my wishes. So that also doesn't make me feel too confident about this. Okay, so I still have that feature turned off. I guess I'm just gonna have to stop unplugging my phone at night, which is unfortunate. But I don't really know any other way to stop this from being downloaded onto my phone. And yeah, so I mean, there's more stuff to that. You can read the article below. But that was what annoyed me about it. And I just don't like any of that stuff. I don't want that stuff on my phone. I don't like not being given a choice of what they're gonna put on my phone, especially when it comes to tracking me. That's not okay. Australia finds signs of human intervention in CV. So a scientific study in Australia has found that CV that has led to the pandemic was likely created in a lab, barring some, quote, remarkable coincidence that led to the virus naturally evolving to be optimized to attack human cells. So it says the scientists discovered that the CV is optimized for penetration into human cells rather than animal cells, which means that the theory that it emerged from an animal market and jumped to humans naturally is unlikely. The study notes that, quote, a virus would be expected to have highest affinity for the receptor in its original host species, example, a bat, with a lower initial binding affinity for the receptor of any new host, example, humans. However, in this case, the affinity of CV is higher for humans than for the putative original host species, bats, or for any potential intermediary host species. So that's interesting. That's, not the first study that points in the direction of of this being engineered. Although in the article they do go over other possibilities, although they seem unlikely, but it does give other possibilities. Okay, so this was massive. Video yesterday, I have a tweet below with the video link in it, just a small clip. I don't have the full clip of him talking about it. I think this was another tweet by Carly Q of Trump saying he takes HCQ. We knew it. I knew it. I kind of knew it. I kind of knew that. So this is what he says. It was really cool, actually. This was quite a moment. And this was quite a moment because for a number of reasons. One is that, well, okay, first I'll read the quote. He says, quote, a lot of good things have come out about the hydroxy, and you'd be surprised at how many people are taking it, especially the frontline workers, before you catch it, prophylactically. The frontline workers, many are taking it. I happen to be taking it. I'm taking it. Hydroxychloroquine right now. Yeah. A couple of weeks ago, so somebody in there said, are you taking it now? And he says, right now. Yeah. And they say, when did you start taking it? And he said, a couple of weeks ago, I started taking it. So he's been taking it for a couple of weeks. He's putting his money where his mouth is. He is also, showing the world that, this isn't the death trap that we're being told that it is, despite the fact that we know there are thousands of people out there that are taking it. I had many people today commenting on my Twitter or tweeting at me, showing me the bottles that they take, that they've been taking it for years for this and that. And so, yeah, our president is taking it. And I love the memes that are coming out of that. I linked a giant thread below on HCQ. I also linked a study on a correlation between vitamin D and CV. So check those out. We know we go over this all the time. It is up to us to educate ourselves. And, obviously, you want to talk to your doctor, especially if you're on other medications and stuff like that. You don't want to just go out and start taking a medication. You want to talk to your doctor about it, and you want to advocate for yourself. Bring the information that you find to your doctor. I've done that before. And I have found that there were areas because nobody cares about you more than you. At least that's true for me. Nobody cares about me more than me. And so I did all this research when I was going through something medical that I wanted the answers to, and there seemed like there was no hope for me. I researched the bejesus out of everything that I could get my hands on. And when I went to my doctor's appointment, I was telling him things that he was like, oh yeah, I hadn't thought about that. You're right. So be your own biggest advocate, research all of these things. When it comes to stuff like vitamins, etc., that we take anyway, at least we try to, taking a multivitamin, we're all supposed to be doing that, right? And certain other supplements. I know that there are medications that conflict with certain vitamins even. So again, just, be cautiously look out for yourself. Then this is my last thing. Hold on, let me just check into the chat before I finish my last thing. And thank you to my mods. You guys always do such a bang up job. Hi, guys. Yeah, we've got a lot of doctors now talking about this, not just in our country, worldwide. In fact, some countries are ahead of us on this. And some doctors have been, doing this. Some people are like, well, there's no study on it. Just because the FDA does not put their big rubber stamp of approval on something does not mean that there isn't other information out there on it. Hi, guys. I get so thirsty. It's the talking, as I'm talking so much. All right, so back to this. This is so fun. This is the letter that Donald Trump wrote to the WHO, and it's great. It is a great letter. This is what a president is supposed to do. It's like, were you people even trying before? This is like, it was so fun reading this. So he's got all of these bullet points. Basically, like, I was picturing this girl like sitting down, breaking up with her boyfriend and writing out everything he did to wrong her. And it was just giving me life. So I'll share like a bunch of the bullet points with you, because why not? He basically says the WHO consistently ignored credible reports of the virus spreading in that city. They failed to independently investigate credible reports that conflicted directly with the Chinese government's official accounts. The WHO chose not to share critical information, including accounts from Taiwanese authorities indicating human-to-human transmission. International health regulations require countries to report a risk of a health emergency within 24 hours, but China did not inform the WHO until days or weeks later. The WHO has repeatedly made claims about CV that were either grossly inaccurate or misleading. Examples, it could not be transmitted between humans. They did not declare the outbreak an emergency by pressure of President Xi. And they publicly praised China for its, quote, transparency, and did not mention that China had silenced and punished several doctors for speaking out. They praised China's strict domestic travel, but were against Trump's closing of the border or China ban. February 3rd, they made statements that the spread of the virus outside of China was, quote, minimal and slow, and the, quote, chances of this going anywhere outside of China were very low, unquote. They never commented on China's racially discriminatory actions. So I don't know if you guys saw some of these videos that were coming out of anyone of African descent was not allowed, like, okay, so they were, there was a campaign of forced quarantines, evictions, and refusals of service of people of African descent. So, yeah, who didn't care about that? The WHO has failed to publicly call on China to allow for an independent investigation into the origins of the virus. It says, he said, it is clear the repeated missteps by you and your organization have been extremely costly for the world. Action is needed quickly. These are the last two sentences of the letter, and I love them. This is what a president should sound like. If the World Health Organization does not commit to a major substantive improvements within the next 30 days, I will make my temporary freeze of the United States funding of the WHO permanent and reconsider our membership in the organization. I cannot allow American taxpayer dollars to continue to finance an organization that, in its present state, is so clearly not serving Americans' interest. So good. I was very, very proud of our president in that moment. That's his job, guys. His job is not to, get along with the world, although, we obviously keep the peace. His job is to look out for the interests of Americans and to protect Americans, and that is exactly what he was doing. And, that is aside from the fact that the WHO and the UN are actually complete shams, and that the president knows that, but he's also playing ball. A lot of the things, I still get a lot of people who are not fully seeing the big picture. They're not looking at everything that he's doing. And sometimes we'll get kind of picky-uni with some of the things that he does, and they're very critical of, well, he did this, or he said he's going to do this. Well, number one, he doesn't always do everything he says he's going to do or makes noises like that he's going to do. Sometimes that can be a tactic to look like you're there. If you know that, it's called calling somebody's bluff, right? On some level. That's how you call somebody's bluff. You pretend like, okay, cool, let's go for it. Let's do it. You want to do it now? We'll take my car. So that's one thing. But the other thing is that Q also pointed out today that this is a marathon, not a sprint. And so in that same sense, like, I understand that, you know, not being thrilled with everything, or not being, there's so much going on behind the scenes that we aren't seeing, that it's hard to gauge. You know, obviously we want everything to be like this. We want everything to be like this letter, but it's not going to be, because he's got to take the other half of the country with him too on this journey of waking up. And so he will do and say things that make us be like, ugh, kind of cringe a little, because they don't completely align with what we do. But we're not seeing the full picture. He is. We would be stupid to think that we were seeing the picture better than he does. And so when people start getting like kind of gripey and whiny, sometimes that gets on my nerves, because it's like, you know, we are in this marathon. It's almost like you've got a leg cramp, so you grab onto me, and your negativity does affect the people around you. It's not that you can't, you know, bring up concerns here and there, or point something out when you think that he's not doing something the way you'd want him to do it, but be mindful of how you bring that up, because it's going to be an exhausting marathon if we're dealing with that all the time. And I just happen to be dealing with that all the time. Everybody likes to send me their gripes. I don't know why that is. Anywho. Negativity is toxic. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be negative just because you are not fully on board with something, you know? You can be like, I don't understand why he's doing this, or, you know, are you seeing something here that I'm not seeing, or I'm not a fan of this, but I understand that I'm not seeing the full picture yet. But this, like, I'm really disappointed in him for this. Like, really? If at this point, if anybody can say that they are disappointed in this man, they are not paying attention, or they are whiny, cryy diaper babies. Because he is doing so much, and you have to look at everything. I'm seeing so much in here. A lot of people saying that they were on the left until Trump came along, and that is not unique to my chat. So many of my friends, the majority of my friends that I've made through this, in this community, are people that were left of center before all of this. So the fact that this gets labeled, you know, right wing, et cetera, if this goes beyond the party lines. Hi, Punisher. Yes. What is your question? Did you see the RFK Instagram post? Yes, I saw, was looking at it just as I was going live, so I don't have it, and I didn't get a chance to really like dig into it, so that's why I didn't bring it up. Hey, Raub. That's my friend Rob. Have you seen the studies with HCQ and HIV? I have seen one. Can you speak of the Arizona lights, if you've seen them and or your experiences regarding them? Are you talking about the one instance in the 90s? If so, I did not see those. I've only seen, you know, videos of them. As far as seeing lights in the Arizona sky myself, yeah, I see them all the time. I really do. I see them all the time. I live in an area, I don't know. I mean, like, I'll just see flashes, or I've seen like balls of, you know, my friend actually that's in here can attest to that, because she lives in my area, and she'll call me up and be like, go outside and look north, and I'll go outside. Or like a couple times I've jumped in my car and like gone, and sure enough, there's like this one mountain that they all kind of surround, or they seem to surround, and when I drove up to it, it's like I couldn't see it anymore. So I was like, oh, okay, it went away. And then as I drove away, I could see it in my rearview mirror. So sometimes I wonder, like, if there would be technology that would cloak itself as you got closer. It is a hot spot. The spider dreams. Love the show with you and Kaylin. I did too. She's a great chick. I think she's in here. We were immediate friends. I like her a lot. We might have more, there might be more coming from that. I got some things in the works here, guys. But I've got to, I have to get my life together. I've got so many things that are going on right now, so many things in the works. I'm in talks with so many people. I really don't know. I mean, there's just been an explosion of not only more people that want to be content creators and do this, and, you know, we want to support all of the people that are trying to do that because, again, like, I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea, if you can believe that. Everybody's got their own unique voice. We need as many people doing this as possible. I mean, this is going to be a 24-hour-a-day job for multiple people. As far as like, there's got to be new content all the time. There's so much stuff coming out and people have to cover it. So I've got some things coming out. I'm trying to support other people. I'm trying to do new things with my channel. I'm also trying to get onto a Patreon so that I can actually like generate money, because I have like flipped something in my brain now where I'm like, okay, I do need to make money to do this so that I can do it better, so that I can bring you guys better content, do it more often, etc., etc. It's like, it's time, you know? I've been kind of like dragging my feet here. So, oh, that reminds me that, I had put up my, a PayPal, I had told you guys a few weeks ago about my, that I put up a PayPal, you know, begrudgingly. So apparently a bunch of people sent me, not a bunch, but a few people sent me, graciously PayPal, and my PayPal didn't let any of it go through. It said that I didn't, what's it called? When you do the thing with the email, when you click on it and then it says, okay, your email is real. Sorry, you guys, I can't think. But anyway, I know I did that, but it's saying I didn't. So then I went on there today. I tried calling PayPal. You get a recording that says, due to the coronavirus, me, and then they hang up on you, so you can't talk to anybody. So then I verified my email again today. So it should be all set to go. For those of you that feel so inclined, my PayPal is thekatoawakening@gmail.com. That's what it's under. To those of you who donated before, I'm so sorry, and thank you so much. Thank you. Just make sure that on your end that they did not charge you, because those did not go through. So yes, verify my account. We got it now. Yeah, I know. Some people have been completely kicked off of PayPal just because of the content that they talk about. And so I don't think that that's what happened to me, but obviously, like, I have to admit that when these kinds of things just keep happening to me, I have to kind of like, I am suspicious. Like, is this because of what I talk about? Are they like pulling the rug out for me? Are they like moving the goalposts because they don't like what I talk about? But I have no idea. I have no, I think they're just a crappy company. So yeah. Ask Quite Frankly about his alternative to Super Chat. I will do that. I love Quite Frankly. He's a really great one if you guys don't already watch him. Brendan Dilley also. I watched Brendan Dilley for the first time in like months today. Well, number one, he's been completely hidden from my feed. And number two, I've been super busy. But today, the stars aligned. Like, as I sat down to put my notes together, I got a notification on my phone for the first time in a really long time, and I watched him, and it was really, can you mail me a check? No thanks. That's really sweet, but anyway. So yeah, it sucks that I don't get a chance to watch all of the other YouTube channels out there. I wish I did. thekatoawakening@gmail.com. Yes, that is correct. Hi, Kaylin. Hello, Metatron. My friend. So you remember the PRS 190 guy? Yes, that was hysterical. That was hysterical. And it shows you that Brendan feels the same. It's funny because it's like what I was talking about the negativity, etc. it kind of showed me that Brendan is feeling the same thing I'm feeling. You almost have more sympathy or patience for the people that are just completely oblivious and have TDS and just like come at you from every angle because they almost have an excuse. It's the people that claim to be on our side or claim to be like supporters of Trump or whatever that get super whiny that like for some reason set me over the edge. And that was what happened on Brendan Dilley's show today too. Somebody was like, I don't know if I can vote for Trump anymore. And he just like completely went off on the guy. So I felt that in my heart. Kate, I just found your live stream at total random out of the whole internet tonight. You are kidding. Tell me how that happened. I know they're not recommending my videos. That ain't happening. We need a meme of raining red pills. Hi, Victoria. Yes. I have a couple really great meme maker friends, and they do take requests. Although they are also very, very busy because they're always taking requests. But pump those memes out, guys. If you guys make memes, even if they are the crappiest, crummiest memes, I used to make crappy, crummy memes. The crappy, crummy memes are almost my favorite memes, although I really, really like the really beautiful, aesthetically pleasing memes as well. I like all memes, except for bad memes. Yeah, make those memes, guys. We could always use more memes. The same memes get, used over and over again, which, that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to go around and around, but we could always use more. It is an information war, friends. Animated ones are tough. I actually even have a couple friends that make animated memes now. There's a guy I posted the other day. I think he like hand draws all of his, and they're really good. I'm gonna look up because I want to plug him really fast because his stuff is really cool. I think his thing is EKO or something like that. I shall find him. Yeah, EKO Tunes, at EKO Tunes on Twitter. He makes awesome memes. Then there is the 6UNFA6. Yes. 6UNFA6. At 6UNFA6. If you can figure out what that says, you go ahead and say it out loud, but I'm not going to. Follow him on Twitter as well. He's a really great meme maker, one of my favorites. Rogan's episode with Tim Pool was really good. Interesting. I don't really watch Joe Rogan. I never really cared for him either. He works for some people, whatever. I have some friends that really love him. And in fact, I watched friends wake up because they're listening to him, but I also watch those same friends go only so far with the information, and then they give up. they run out of steam. So I have to wonder if that is related. Hey, Steven. Welcome. Have you seen he's going to Spotify exclusively? No, who is? Like quite frankly says, we can't just meme, we need people to actually fight the fight. Yeah, I get that. Obviously, yeah. We need memes too, but the memes are an important element, and right now we know that those are important and we know how to use them and we know what we're doing with them, and the other stuff is not so clear. We all know, we're all getting the sense that it's time to stand up, but figuring out what exactly that's going to look like needs more discussion, I think. Unless you guys haven't figured out, then you can let me know. Call me. Oh, Joe Rogan is going to Spotify. Yeah, guys. Well, I've got a big week. My kiddo has a birthday, which is very painful. It's so sad. They grow up. It's really sad. Echo Tune deleted. No, it's Toon. Sorry. Tune is in cartoon. Try that one. So I'm going to be doing that, but I'll also be on Twitter because I'm always on Twitter, at Kate_awakening. And also the same thing on Instagram. I think I have an interview that I'm doing next Tuesday. So I will probably be doing that either in place of my show, or maybe I will do my show on Wednesday right before Pink Patriot Hour, so that we can go from my show into Pink Patriot Hour. Maybe I'll do my show Monday instead. But either way, watch Pink Patriot Hour on One Foot in 5D. She just messaged in the chat room right now, so you can just go click on that and follow her and hit the subscription or the notification bell. Subscribe, notification bell. But I'll let you guys know that on Twitter. I know there's some way to let you guys know on YouTube, but again, you guys don't get my notifications anyway, so like I'll learn that someday, but probably not in the next few days. And oh, your birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday, Amy. So I'll keep you privy to that, what's going on next week. And until then, have a great week, you guys, and I'll see you on Twitter. Okay, bye.